Formula One is a sport of speed, precision, and courage, but its history is also marked by tragedy. Drivers who pushed the limits and paid the ultimate price. This is their story. One of the first major losses was Luigi Fagioli in 1952. The Italian and 1950 Monaco Grand Prix winner crashed during practice for a non-championship race in Monaco. His car hit a barrier and he succumbed to injuries 3 weeks later. The 1950s saw 15 F1-related deaths, including Onofre Merriman in Ija Wusif, killed during practice for the German Grand Prix when his Maserati plunged down a bank at the Nürburgring. These early tragedies exposed the dangers of open cockpit cars and primitive track designs. The 1960s brought faster cars but little safety progress. Wolfgang von Trips, a German Ferrari driver, died in 1961 during the Italian Grand Prix at Monza on lap 2. His car collided with Jim Clark's Lotus, launching into the crowd. Von Trips was killed instantly, along with 15 spectators. The tragedy led to calls for better barriers. 7 years later, in 1968, the legendary Jim Clark, a 2-time world champion at this point, would be involved in another incident that unfortunately he would not be able to walk away from this time in a race at Hockenheim. His Lotus veered off, likely due to a tire failure, hitting trees and causing fatal injuries. Clark's death stunned the sport, highlighting the need for stronger cars and safer tracks. The 1970s were no less deadly. Johann Rindt, the 1970 championship leader, crashed during qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. A brake failure sent his Lotus into the barriers at the Parabolica corner, and his seatbelt caused a fatal throat injury. Rindt became F1's only posthumous world champion. In 1973, Francois Savert, a rising French star with Tyrrell, died during qualifying at Watkins Glen. His car lost control at high speed, hitting barriers and killing him instantly. The 1980s saw some progress, but tragedy persisted. In 1982, Gilles Villeneuve, Ferrari's charismatic Canadian, crashed during qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix at Zolder. After colliding with Johan Mass's car, Villeneuve's Ferrari went airborne, cartwheeled, and ejected him. He suffered a fatal neck fracture. Villeneuve's flair and fearlessness made his loss deeply felt. 4 years later, in 1986, Elio De Angelis died during testing at Paul Ricard, France. A rear wing failure caused his Brabham to flip and catch fire. De Angelis survived the crash, but died of smoke inhalation due to a slow Marshall response. His death led to better testing safety protocols. The darkest weekend in F1 history came in 1994 at the San Marino Grand Prix. On Saturday, April 30th, Roland Ratzenberger, a rookie with SimTech, suffered a front-wing failure during qualifying. His car slammed into a wall at the Villeneuve kink at over 300 kilometers per hour, causing a fatal basilar skull fracture. The next day, the sport lost its greatest star, Ayrton Senna. The 3-time world champion was leading the race when his Williams veered off at Tamburello Corner due to a steering column failure. A suspension arm pierced his helmet, causing fatal head injuries. Senna's death, watched by millions, was a turning point. It sparked major safety reforms: stronger chassis, grooved tires, better barriers, and eventually the Hans device to prevent neck injuries. After Senna, F1 went 20 years without a race weekend fatality, thanks to those safety advances. But in 2014, tragedy struck again. Jules Bianchi, a talented young Frenchman with Marussia, crashed during the Japanese Grand Prix in heavy rain. His car collided with a recovery vehicle at Suzuka, causing a severe brain injury. His death was the last in F1 to date and led to two critical innovations: the virtual safety car, 2 slow races during hazardous conditions, and the Halo, a cockpit protection device that's now saved lives. Fagioli, Merriman, Von Trips, Clark, Rindt, Severt, Villeneuve, De Angelis, Ratzenberger, Senna, Bianchi. These fallen heroes remind us of the cost of pushing boundaries. Their names are etched in F1's history, not just for their talent, but for the safer sport they helped create.
So I'd like to dedicate this award to the losers, because I tell you from my own experience, winning is one thing, but out of losing I always learned more for the future.